Okay guys, I got a new toy. Keyless entry system. Got it for like 15 bucks or something on Amazon. And I'm gonna mount it under here. So I gotta pull apart all these dash pieces, kick panel, get this side trim out of the way, the door trim out of the way, start looking at the wiring. I got a wiring diagram off the internet of where I need to pull from, so we'll see how we can get this mess here to plug up to everything. The instructions themselves are pretty straightforward and vague at the same time, so that tells you like which wires are going where. I'm not hooking up a siren, so I don't need the pink. I'm not hooking up the window output, so I don't need the green. I don't have a power trunk because it's a 3rd gen 4Runner, so I don't need the blue. So the browns are to your turn signals, black and the red go to the battery, and then you have your central lock diagram on the back. Now there's different options you could do based on your vehicle, and that's where it's vague, and I'm gonna have to start digging in and seeing what's going on. But between these instructions and the wiring diagram that I got from the internet, should be able to figure out this loom here and get it all wired up, good to go. And it already has the batteries and the key fobs, so it should be ready to rock. See how we can get this going. To access the kick panel, you have to pull the trim, so 4 screws and it just pops right up. Get that out of the way. Your kick panel, it just kind of pulls out. Now I got some wiring there already for my speaker box and stuff like that, for my subwoofer, my amplifier. And then you're gonna have to get these 10mm bolts out right here, here by the ignition. And then I have to move my brake booster that I have here for towing, so I can get to that last one in the corner, so I can pull all this off and access this fuse area, because the wiring that I need to get to is up in there. Okay, so all the bolts are out, brake booster's just kind of hanging. Toyota was nice enough to add this handy dandy parts tray to keep all your bolts and stuff, so that's pretty cool. At least that's what I use it for every time I'm working in here. But once you get that loose, it just kind of falls down, and then you gotta, you know, undo whatever little cannon plugs you got and stuff like that. So keep going from here. All right, so what I am trying to access here is these plugs right here, up underneath the fuse box to the left, and then this cluster here inside the ignition. And what I'm trying to get to is a constant power, some grounds, and then the wires for the locks and unlocks for the doors. So before you do anything, you want to disconnect the battery power, the negative on your battery, before you start messing with wires, obviously. And then, like I said, I have a wiring diagram from the internet, so I'll put a picture of that, and then just kind of match up the wires to the diagrams. So okay, so one more thing I forgot to mention was there's a little light right there. It'll focus. So there's a little light right there, which means it's already wired up and everything, that this particular Toyota 4Runner was already had keyless entry. And somewhere along the line between whoever owned it or bought it or sold it or wherever, the key fobs were lost. So I was given a handful of spare keys. The guy had like 6 of them. So, but no key fobs. So that's why I bought this thing, to try and get a keyless entry on it. And I'm not sure exactly the wiring. So we're looking right now at all this. Like I said, there's a ton of different ways you can wire it up here. You can wire it up like this, you can wire it up like this. But I think this is the one that's gonna work. If the car was originally equipped with central locking system and the driver's door has been installed with electric motor, the wiring can be made on the diagrams below. This looks like a pretty easy wiring, so we're gonna go ahead and check that out and see if that works out worse. So I just got lucky and I found the box for the old keyless entry system, and is not Toyota. It's not a factory keyless entry, so somebody wired all this stuff up. And it's gonna make it somewhat easy on me because I can just replicate everything that they did with my new box. Take all these wires out, put in a new box, and it's gonna be so easy to run it. So I'm pretty excited. Okay, so I pulled all that out of the truck. It's all the old wiring for the old keyless entry. And this is the old box. So it's pretty easy to identify which wires were going where. I already hooked up the positive there to the ignition, which is the white wire on your ignition. And then these two right here are for the unlock and lock. These three are for the switch that power my lights. I got little pod lights, LED pod lights up front. So these should be the lock and unlock here. And then this plug right here is gonna be the parking lights. So I'm gonna wire these two brown ones in to the parking lights like it says, and then just wire the rest of these up to the lock and unlock and ground them and see if it works. So we should be good to go. These three I'm not gonna use because they go to accessories that we don't have. So see how this works out. Okay, so I got mine set up. I went with this one here. So a couple of the wires aren't connected, and I went to the grounding side. So I grounded the yellow and the black wire with the black wire in the loom. I'll show you guys right here. So I grounded the black and the two yellow wires, yellow and black. The orange ones I didn't even connect because that's what it said, because I already have the setup here for power lock doors. Like I said, these three are for the siren. The pink one's for the siren. The window, what did they say it was called? Window rising output is the green one, and then the blue one goes to the power trunk. Like I said, we don't have those three accessories, so those aren't connected. Grounded the yellow ones, like I said, and then these two are going to the white and the black. These are the pre-existed wires that were already hooked up with these fancy little connectors. So white and red, and red and yellow, red, white, red, and yellow, and those are for the locks and unlocks. So power lock, power unlock, and then we're tapped into, like I said, I went to the same fancy little connector they had there. The only thing I still need to hook up is the parking lights, so they'll flash. That's optional though. I might not even hook that up. I might just cut those off and call it a day because it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the store because I don't have any connectors for these, but I just taped them up to make sure it would work. Now that I know it'll work, I'm gonna go to the store, get some electrical connectors so I can crimp these all together and tuck it away and cut them shorter and make it look real nice. And then I'll probably put this exactly where that one was and just kind of zip tie it up here, back in the back or something, out of the way so all the wires are hidden. It's gonna be awesome. So at the fuse box here, there's a white plug right underneath it with a green wire, and that is your parking lights. So I connected the two brown ones that came on this wire loom for the box to this fancy little connector that already had a wire to it. So I just taped it to see if it'll work, and when we lock the door, It works. When we unlock it, it works. Makes a fancy little beep out of the box, but you can see that they lock and they unlock. So it's a cool little key fob. Works pretty good. I'm digging it so far. Digging it a lot. Okay, so I just kind of zip tied the box right here to this vent. That way it's up out of the way and it's not going to move anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. Got the power line running straight over to the constant in the cluster here. So that's all hooked up. And then I took the 2 yellow wires back there and I ran them over the fuse box and I crimped them down to 1 black wire right here. So I can just ground it to the side there, call it a day. And then I have these 2 brown wires here that I'm gonna cut a little bit shorter, run this line and actually crimp it instead of electrical tape it, and that's gonna run straight into the green wire that's next to the fuse box. And that's for the lights, the parking lights, like I said. And then these 2 right here, blue and green, are for the lock and unlock. So I'm gonna probably run those over the fuse box as well with the grounds, and then cut them shorter so I can tap them in here to these fancy connectors that were already there. So we should be all set up, everything should be tucked away. Oh, and I also installed the little security light. This was the extra insert on the dash there that already had a security light in it. The hole was a little too small, so I just took a blade, kind of opened it up a little more so this one would fit in there because this light was bigger. And I'm gonna do something with this wire because it's pretty long, so it's gonna be up here in this hole basically. And that's a lot of extra wire hanging down for that little light, so I'm either gonna run that wire somewhere else or just kind of like zip tie it up, crimp it up together, coil it up together and zip tie it out of the way. So haven't decided yet, but it's coming along. It's almost done. And the moment that we've all sort of been waiting for, at least me. It works. There it is. Keyless entry. It's got that little security deter light. That's pretty cool. So like I said, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I ran all the wires over the fuse box and down into this kick panel, and I grounded, like I said, ran the lock and unlock wires, and then I ran the lights, parking lights, like I said I was going to do, up in the fuse box and that plug, and everything works great. It's awesome. I'm super excited about it. Keyless entry. Haven't had that for a while. Thanks again for watching.